Chris Cuomo's interviewing him, and he's not. I guess this guy, he's not your enemy, your neighbor. He's not your enemy anymore, Chris.
I guess some Americans were your enemy, but they weren't the ones you thought were.
Why do I believe this? It's not a belief, it's a fact.
Let's see.
Never once in my entire life did I ever gaslight someone to take a medical experiment. Nor did God ever make me stupid enough to gaslight. I've been called by one idiot an anti-jab, which is absolutely ridiculous. It sounds like you're regurgitating the propaganda. And guess what? Congratulations, with your regurgitating of the propaganda and doing no research, children's little coffins went up 20%, and that's your fault. Those people that use the word anti-jab, I consider intellectual idiots. So we're going to go back to this
vaccine and what has happened when you've tried to get clinical analysis of it or answers.
So let me first thank you for having the courage to bring this topic out. I've waited 3 years for this moment, so this is really important to me and thousands of other people just like me. Why do I believe this? It's not a belief, it's a fact. Been deleted. And as soon as I was injured within 15, 20 minutes of my first dose, I had paresthesias, numbness tingling up and down my injected arm that over days spread to my face and my eyes. I went to see a neurologist. He ran some tests. He's like, well, this is all new. We don't know much about it, but the hospital is going to mandate it. You should get a second dose.
Can you imagine the level of incompetence? You should get a second dose, but we don't know what your injury is because this is all relatively new. That is absolutely evil. I could not believe that the guy didn't give the proper response. Are you fucking crazy? After watching body bags after body bags after body bags being taken out of my last building and watching it from across the street, death went up here so much and nobody came down here to find out what the hell's going on. And then there's an idiot in a forum, Reddit, I think that's where the stupid people go to talk. And Debbie's an anti-vaxxer. Are you really? I just laughed my head off. I just thought, okay, that shows the level of stupidity coming from this person. Regurgitating fake media, fake doctors, and quite frankly, I don't even trust the medical people after the amount of death I witnessed. My freak neighbor in the last place, the insane woman, got a jab. She got so sick, almost died, that she was lucky to have a proper doctor because they told her she couldn't have another jab. This guy, oh yeah, just get another one.
Mind and my bones was telling me no. If you have a reaction after something, don't do it again. But the pressure was immense, and then 3 weeks rolled around, I got a second dose, and after that, everything blew up. I went from being a healthy, 100% healthy, fully functioning nurse to in a complete downward spiral of health. I had a myriad of symptoms.
And in the succeeding years, have you gotten any clarity from doctors that, yeah, we are seeing this, or from the drug manufacturer putting out any information about what could happen as a side effect?
No, as a research nurse practitioner and somebody who worked on vaccine research, I thought after I was injured, there would be people to help me. I'm like, I'm in New York City. I will have there will be medical people ready to help me. There must be interest to find out what happened or what went wrong with me. I reached out to my political representatives. I reached out to the NIH, the CDC, the FDA. I got no answers. No one wanted to touch it. I got token responses back or no.
One lady in Canada got a really bad injury and she's paralyzed. She hasn't been paid out, but they did offer her another medical procedure, and this is on the news. I made a video about it somewhere on either one of my channels. She was offered euthanization for her cure. And I can't make this up. Absolutely hideous.
Research myself and help others.
What have you found out? And what do you see in your blood work?
So I sent, in the early days when I couldn't get answers here at home in America, I sent my blood over to Germany. And I had help with connecting with German scientists. They were more interested to help me than people here in my own country.
It's less political there.
That testing showed I developed several autoantibodies, many of them that some theorists or some scientists believe are attributed to this POTS, or positional tachycardia that you mentioned, where every time I stand, my heart zooms. So some of my autoantibodies look similar to people with long COVID, and I never had COVID.
So that was also my experience, that I presented as if I had long COVID when I never had COVID. So I've since gone on to have it 3 times, but this was before I ever had COVID. And so when people say they have long COVID, how do you know where you got it from? Okay, and I've heard other people say, well, the vaccine protects you from long COVID.
I just want to point out we all laughed at North Koreans for believing nonsense things they were told to believe by their government, and they look like real idiots. And now I'm watching this idiot who's here, and I can't even tell. All I want to know is Chris Cuomo, after I watched him do that other thing, is anything going on in his head while he's hearing the story?
I like how he goes, well, it's less political in Germany. And why do you think that is, Chris?
Yeah, why was
Is it because they don't allow Big
North
Pharma
America
to buy their
around the
media
world?
like they do in the United States? That most of the pay you got when you were at CNN came directly from Pfizer? Do you think that has anything to do with it?
There was nobody smart enough to coerce me into getting a jab. I knew about the jab before the flu came out and the technology. And I'm not going to talk about it on YouTube because I don't want to disturb anyone. And I damn well had the right to say no. And these idiots out there, you're an anti-jab. I only got called once, and it's online on Reddit, which I really honestly think is for nut bars and intellectual idiots. And if there is someone decent on there, well, I'm sorry. I thought it was for intellectual idiots and, you know, these political regurgitators. Anti-jab, you're anti-jab. Meanwhile, I'm 100% pro-choice. I was 100% pro-choice. And I still hear my prime pooper, he's my prime pooper, Trudeau, you know, for Canada, say, oh God, it makes me so ashamed. He says things like, for gaslighting Canadians, you're a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist. I can't even make this up. And then people regurgitate that retardation. They take on the retardation for themselves and regurgitate it. Nobody, no matter whether I went to the hospital up to 20 or more times during the COVID, and it was so fast service, no Q-tip up my nose, because I did the research on the Q-tip too. It was not designed for flus. No jab. I stood my ground, and what I did is I used my knowledge to say no, and I didn't get bothered. I invited a native dude, 23 years old, to my home because he was on the streets of Vancouver crying. His feet were all diseased, sleeping out, and there was snow, and I couldn't take it. So on the second day, I invited him to my place, even though it's dangerous. I didn't care. I couldn't watch this young guy cry anymore. Nobody else was doing anything. OPS, Sarah Bly, never takes anyone home with him. You know, never takes anybody home with her that needs it. I gave him a cannabis muffin because I knew he was in a lot of pain. And I blew up, because his feet were diseased, I blew up an air mattress and I put him on the air mattress so I could wash it and sanitize it properly. And I left him in my apartment alone. I did his laundry. And I asked him a couple of times, please don't steal from me. He promised he wouldn't. And he was a lovely young guy. He didn't steal from me. And I managed to get him to get a little bit of sleep, but he still had feet pain. And hours later, I had to send him back to the hospital. But when he had gone to the hospital, they wouldn't even cut his socks off, because he didn't have the knowledge I did, without a jab first. So I took him in my apartment, and a lot of people don't know this, jabs shed. And I took that on, knowing he could be shedding all over my apartment on me and my puppy. And if anyone doesn't believe that, you should do a little research on our Canadian broken Google. Good luck. Google changes every day. So this is Chris Cuomo, the big, you're an anti-jabber. Anybody that ever used that terminology to your own Canadian citizens or American citizens, you should have the balls to apologize. Say, I was wrong to gaslight you into getting a medical procedure that really wasn't tested properly. Excess deaths are 15 million a year. We're probably at over 60 million now. They hide that information, but the death hasn't gone down yet. And that Cuomo guy, yeah, it was really bad. Sending your blood to Germany, that's horrible. So if you want to watch this is Jimmy Dore. I adore him because he has a lot of common sense, and he got a vaccination injury too. Now, his buddies alienated him when he took a similar stance to me. I didn't get alienated. Just one idiot called me an anti-jabber. And that's because he had brain damage, because I was a pro-jabber. These people that think that the government gives you two choices and you can only fall in those, that is so intellectual limiting, and it is untrue. It is. So congratulations, all those people that use the word anti-jabber. You do owe everybody an apology. But you're probably not going to do that. You're probably not going to take responsibility.